I'm a victim advocate at the Santa Rosa Police Department for senior citizens and for dependent adults. The biggest area of abuse that we see at the police department is financial abuse. And when I do my outreach, I focus on the seniors themselves. I talk to them about going home and looking at their kitchen table, and if they have a stack of junk mail, contests, and sweepstakes, they're a potential victim. They have to throw that information away. If you send information in, somebody's going to call you, and you're just opening yourself up to being defrauded.
Elders often enter a lot of these contests, and their names when they enter these legitimate contests are sold to other companies who in turn sell it to another company, till ultimately these names become available to these people who are perpetrating the fraud.
I get about 30 pieces, between 30 and 40 pieces of mail every day, from psychics, from astrologers, from people that are going to do all these wonderful things for me, and all they want is $19.95 or $49.95 or something.
In the last month or two, I've had calls like this almost every other night, and I got pretty sick and tired of telling them, I'm sorry, I'm not interested, goodbye, and hang up. Yep. That's all, the three words or whatever I said, I'm not interested, goodbye. Good. And I don't want any more calls.
A person starts getting a phone call at home, and they're told that they have won a lot of money, and the victim may doubt it, may not remember that they've entered this contest.
They're reeling that person in for them to finally send them some money. Then typically what will happen once they receive that money for what they claim to be the taxes they have to prepay, they'll call them back and tell them that it's not enough money, they need to send more money.
Mrs. Smith says, well, I don't really remember, not entering this, and, she's being pretty skeptical. She doesn't know who that caller is. And the caller says, well, aren't you Mrs. Smith, and you live at 3585 Round Barn Boulevard in the Vineyard Commons? Well, yeah. Well, you're telling me you don't want this money? Mrs. Smith thinks, $1.5 million, that sounds pretty good.
They make it sound so official and so legitimate that they don't tell anybody. And so weeks go by, and then we find out, and it's often too late to try and recover the money. And so then you have someone who's facing a significant loss.
Don't you see, if they're elderly people that are alone and the family isn't around anymore, that they really want someone to be close and caring? Or just someone to sit down and talk to for 10 minutes.
They're also very trusting, and they're the generation, and this is a big generalization, but where a handshake is a contract. I love my job. I have a great position here. I love doing community outreach work and public presentations, and working with seniors and some of the folks with disabilities has been really personal rewarding, as well as knowing that I'm able to make a great difference in somebody's life.
I'll tell you, Wendy was so sweet, and a couple others I spoke to, they were just so nice and so sweet.
If a person's a victim of crime, the important thing to know is it's not their fault. That's the main thing. Don't blame yourself for what happened. Somebody else caused that action. I don't think that anybody should have to go into a courtroom and not know what to expect. It's bad enough to become a victim of a crime. You shouldn't have to feel scared the whole way through and not know what's going on. So I like to be able to provide people with answers and what their expectations should be.